The business cycle. Imagine a bricklayer who's laying bricks down to build up a wall. And so he has 10,000 bricks. And so plans the wall in a way, he plans to make a wall that is 100 yards long. And I'm just making up numbers. If he is told he has 20,000 bricks, and the bricklayer believes that he has 20,000 bricks, he will change his plan and make the wall twice as high. Okay, and this results in a wall building boom. However, as he builds the wall, he begins to realize that he only has 10,000 bricks. And so what he has to do is find a way to salvage the bricks that were used to make the wall twice as high in order to make it last for the full 100 yards. And some bricks can be salvaged, right? But many bricks end up just being destroyed. And so let's say he uses 5,000 bricks on the first 25 yards before realizing that he only had 10,000 bricks for the full 100 yards. And let's say of the 25,000 bricks removed from the first 25 yards on the wall, only half of those can be salvaged. This means for the remainder of the wall, the bricklayer only has 6,250 bricks. If the bricklayer had not been misled by a faulty signal saying that he had 20,000 bricks, he would have had 7,500 bricks for the remaining 75 yards, right? And he could have had an even wall all the way down. Instead now, because he had the false signal, it's kind of jagged at the beginning, and now he has to find a way to stretch out the remaining bricks for the full 100 yards. Now imagine the bricklayer has 10,000 brick notes to buy from the brick maker, right? Apparently he got them from whoever was employing him to make the wall. He buys bricks, build the wall, no sweat, just like before, except with one more step. He has to take the brick notes to buy the brick. Now imagine if some guy printed off 10,000 additional brick notes and gave them to the bricklayer. The bricklayer would jump for joy at having so many notes that he could build a brick wall twice as high. So he buys up 5,000 bricks for the first 25 yards and gets laying. But the brick maker notices something. He notices that he now only has 5,000 bricks left, but the bricklayer has 15,000 notes left. So the brick maker raises his price to 3 notes per brick, right? And so you end up getting inflation. The bricklayer sees this and now realizes that he only has 5,000 more bricks to finish the whole project and attempts to salvage some bricks from the first 25 yards of the wall, removing 25,000 bricks but only saving half of those, or 1,250 of them, right? The increase in the number of brick notes misled the bricklayer to inefficiently laying bricks at twice the rate in a bricklaying frenzy. This was the artificial boom. It was followed by inflation and the bust, which literally involved busting bricks in this case. The same thing happens when Federal Reserve notes are printed. Federal Reserve notes, which are issued by the Federal Reserve, which is a nominally private bank established by an act of Congress and has de facto legal monopoly on currency as a result of legal tender laws. When the Federal Reserve increases the money supply, the effect is just like printing off a bunch of brick notes, except it applies to all resources in the entire economy. And I put economy in quotes just to point out that there's no singular economy. Economy is just a concept of all human exchange in a given area, and what is economic activity is subjective. And so what happens is there's a business starting boom, and everyone and his mom and his dog start, is investing in an e-business or buying a condo. For example, at one point, Yahoo, the internet company, was valued more than the entire country of New Zealand. And so that's what happens in these booms when you expand the money supply artificially. So eventually it becomes revealed that there aren't really that many resources in the economy, and so there's a bust. And whatever resources from the failed ventures that can be salvaged are salvaged. Right? The printing of money, or in today electronically poofing the money into computers, results in faulty signals being sent to people. And this is the Austrian theory of the business cycle, and it explains such phenomena that have perpetually baffled Keynesian and neoclassical economists who ascribe such events to intrinsic demand for cash holding, or animal spirits, or similar hokum. Some clarifications here. In reality, the boom and the inflation tend to overlap in time. There's some inflation while the boom is going on, because some businesses realize what's going on sooner than others, or they realize what's going on, but the boom still continues. It's complicated, right? It doesn't happen. Realization doesn't happen instantly, and the correction doesn't happen instantly. The boom and the bust overlap a little bit. As for the specifics of how the Fed makes money, open market operations, the discount rate, Federal Reserve requirements, banking reserve requirements, those are details not relevant to the main point of this writing. The main point is that the state monopoly on currency allows them to poof notes into existence, which we are forced to use because it is the law, right? And laws are obeyed because of the ideological/marginal state. And this poofing of notes into existence sends the wrong signals to investors, making them think there are more bricks than there really are, causing them to build tons of stuff in a frenzied boom, only to have it be salvaged when people realize there isn't actually that much stuff. So when one claims that the free market is volatile, remind them that the business cycle is caused by the state's manipulation of the money supply, sending all of these false signals. And no, the Federal Reserve is not a private institution. An institution established by an act of Congress and whose notes are required to be accepted as payment for debts by law of the state, and whose notes are printed off by the Treasury Department, is not a private institution. It is, however, a state agency unique in that it is far less accountable than the elected politicians who it hides behind. And even elected politicians aren't that accountable. I hope the reader is starting to see the economy as something more emergent and biological in nature. And this is why Austrian economics is so excellent, right? They deal in general axioms and deductive reasoning to determine where the flower will tend to grow and where it will tend to wither, right? Not absolutely predicting the plant, but pointing out general tendencies and incentives.